The Autistic Atheist. Introducing the hypothesis. In recent years, an intriguing correlation has emerged between autism, atheism, and proclivity towards scientific thinking. A study showed that autistics are more likely to identify as atheists or as some non-religious construction ascribing to big God religions. The article in question also showed that on the mean, atheists and agnostics scored much higher on measurements of autistic traits than people who subscribe to mainstream religions. Autistic person be more likely to identify with atheism, and why might non-autistic people be more likely to be religious? Most people in the fields of mathematics and sciences are less likely to be religious. This number decreases significantly with PhDs, and higher up you go. This is particularly the case in the domains of physics and biology. In addition, scientists tend to possess more autistic traits and tendencies than the general public, or are overrepresented by people on the autism spectrum, and score higher on the autism quotient test than average. Together, and you have a correlation between autistic traits, non-belief, and scientific mindedness. This book delves into the intricate interplay of autism, atheism, and scientific mindedness. Central to this exploration is the notion that the autistic brain exhibits a predisposition towards non-supernatural thinking, while the neurotypical brain tends to gravitate towards religious belief systems. Drawing from seminal works by researchers like Simon Baron-Cohen, I will dissect the cognitive differences between autistic and non-autistic individuals, shedding light on how these variances influence beliefs about the natural world and the existence of a higher power. This discussion will delve into the evolutionary underpinnings of belief systems and their role in shaping human cognition. We will examine the neurology behind religious thinking and contrast it with the cognitive processes associated with scientific inquiry. Through this lens, we hope to elucidate why certain individuals are more inclined towards atheism and scientific rationalism, while others seem to be drawn towards religious faith. This argument implies that those who do not fall under the category of autism spectrum disorders are much more likely to hold religious beliefs, and that their brains are more highly wired towards belief in a god or gods. The extreme case of this would be the extreme empathizing brain, or what I will refer to as allism. I will argue that the allistic brain is more prone to holding beliefs centered on religion that are not grounded in reality, but in intuition. I shall argue this by examining the parts of the brain that are involved in religious thinking, the role religion plays in society, and how religion evolved. It is imperative to emphasize that this inquiry is not intended to homogenize the experiences of individuals on the autism spectrum, nor to disparage those who hold religious beliefs. Rather, a naturalistic way of thinking is more in line with the characteristics of the autistic brain over agency-based thinking. Thus, atheism would seem like the more intuitive conclusion for the autistic person to make over the existence of a god. We will examine what autism is, the evolution of the human brain, the role of belief in human evolution, the potential evolution of autism and neurodiversity, why people think the way that they do, and how our experiences shape our beliefs and vice versa. What I hope to do is to shed light on another side of humanity, so that people begin to see autism less as a disorder or disability and more as a part of natural human variation. Asperger wrote of many of his patients' blatant disregard for authority. Asperger remarked that The innate gifts of these children were as central to the condition he was describing as the social difficulties. Asperger had become convinced that the children he had studied had the potential to become innovators in their fields of interest precisely because they were constitutionally unable to take things on faith. Asperger was also one of the first people to recognize the unique gifts of autistic people in the realm of science. I hope to provide a more complete synthesis on why this may be, and bring in some of my own introspection where appropriate. This topic has been discussed before in academic circles with evidence from from the likes of Caldwell Harris and Aaron Norn Zion. These findings only scratch the surface as to how an autistic person may experience religion or how autism influences a person's ability to believe in or accept the concept of God or gods.